Ladies and gentlemen, this is your 2-minute warning, so please take your seats and remember to silence your cell phones. 2 minutes.
We take a great deal of pride in that we can deliver these high-quality ships for the folks that sail the seas and wear the cloth of our nation.
My dad, he would have been just astounded and very, very touched.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to General Dynamics NASCO. We are pleased that you have joined us today to be a part of a long-standing tradition of christening a U.S. Navy ship. The tradition continues today as we are set to christen the Robert E. Simanek ESB-7. My name is Brian Jones, and I'm your MC this morning. On behalf of the men and women of General Dynamics NASCO who labor in our shipyard every day, it is my honor to represent them and to welcome you. I'd also like to extend a special welcome to those who are watching the ceremony via the live stream. Thanks for joining us out there. Will the guests please stand for the arrival of the official party and remain standing for the presentation of colors, our national anthem, and the invocation. Commander Mark Iwaku, United States Navy, Officer in Charge, Supervisor of Shipbuilding Bath, Detachment San Diego. Captain Bobby Summers, United States Merchant Marine, Master USNS Robert E. Simanek. Captain Micah Murphy, United States Navy, Commander, Military Sealift Command, Pacific. Our Maid of Honor, Ms. Heidi Joy Simanek Smagaki, niece and goddaughter of Private First Class Robert Simanek. Mr. Timothy Roberts, Strategic and Theater Sealift Program Manager, Program Executive Office, Ships. Representing the Commandant of the Marine Corps, Brigadier General Robert Weiler, United States Marine Corps, Assistant Division Commander, 1st Marine Division. Representing the Chief of Naval Operations, Vice Admiral Yvette Davids, United States Navy, Superintendent, U.S. Naval Academy. Command Master Chief Britt Slabinski, United States Navy, retired, Medal of Honor recipient, and President of the Congressional Medal of Honor Society. Our principal speaker, representing the Secretary of the Navy, the Honorable Sean Coffey, General Counsel of the Navy. Representing California's 50th Congressional District, the Honorable Scott Peters, United States House of Representatives. And finally, our ship sponsor, Ms. Ann Simanek Clark, daughter of Private First Class Robert Simanek, escorted by the President of General Dynamics NASCO, Mr. Dave Carver. Marine Band San Diego will now render honors to the Honorable Scott Peters. Color Guard, parade the colors. Ladies and gentlemen, our national anthem. Our chaplain today, Lieutenant Commander Luke Dundon, Chaplain Corps, United States Navy, will now deliver the invocation. Chaplain.
Let us pray. Eternal Father, strong to save, we thank you for all members brave. For those who go to the sea in ships, give what liberty demands, what freedom equips. For men and women in uniform continue to serve, our prayerful support they rightly deserve. The courage to fight and defend our home, across the 7 seas they'll roam, in vessels named after the American ideal, which makes the mission concrete and real. May all who sail on this worthy craft follow Simanek's Semper Fi from fore to aft, remaining on station, a sea base ready, keeping our forces stable and steady, preserving peace and protecting trade in the wind and waves where sailors are made. As we christen ESB-7, send your blessing true on those who serve on her for red, white, and blue. Amen.
Thank you, Chaplain. Ladies and gentlemen, you may be seated. Let's give a big round of applause for our Marine Corps Recruit Depot Color Guard and the Marine Band San Diego. Well done. Before the start of this morning's ceremony, the ship sponsor and our maid of honor were presented with a bouquet of flowers by our ceremonial flower girl, Miss Juliet Trinkovich. Juliet is the daughter of Walter Trinkovich, Director of Steel. Juliet, would you please stand and be recognized? I'm pleased to say that today we are privileged to be in the company of several remarkable men who have earned our nation's highest award for valor, the Medal of Honor. When I call your name, would our Medal of Honor recipients in the audience please stand and be recognized? Sergeant John Baca, United States Army, retired. Colonel Robert Modjeski, United States Marine Corps, retired. And Colonel J. Vargas, United States Marine Corps, retired. Gentlemen, thank you for your service and sacrifice and for inspiring generations to come. We are honored to have several members of Robert Simanek's family with us today, including cousins, nieces, nephews, grandnieces, and grandnephews. Would all members of Mr. Simanek's family please stand and be recognized? Thank you all for being here. I would also like to recognize additional distinguished guests that are in the audience. Joe Mullen, Chief Operating Officer for Trident. Aaron Rockwell, Vice President, West Coast Operations for Trident. Mr. Ton Carr, Senior Owners Representative, Military Sealift Command. And Rosalie Calhoun, sponsor of USS John C. Calhoun, representing the Society of Ship Sponsors. To the rest of our audience, thank you all for attending and for your ongoing support of the men and women of General Dynamics NASSCO. Now it is my honor to introduce our first speaker this morning. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the President of General Dynamics NASSCO, Mr. Dave Carver.
Thank you, Brian. Good morning. Flag and general officers, members of Congress, Medal of Honor recipients, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the entire NASSCO team, it is my distinct honor to welcome you here for the christening ceremony of the Robert E. Simanek ESB-7. The Robert E. Simanek is one of 7 ships that is currently being built at NASSCO, all in various stages of construction. To name a couple, behind you is the Earl Warren, the 3rd ship of a John Lewis class of fleet oilers. This ship will deliver to the Navy Tuesday of next week. On the other side of the Earl Warren in our graving dock is a Hector A. Cafferata Jr. ESB-8. I'm sure you saw the ship as you walked in today. If you didn't, please take a look on your way out. The sister ship to the Robert E. Simanek is partially constructed, but is just as impressive as this magnificent ship behind me. Miss Ann Simanek Clark, good to see you again, and welcome back to NASSCO. Ann, the daughter of Robert Simanek, has the distinct honor of being the ship's sponsor. She is also a certified NASSCO welder. She really is. She welded her initials in the ship's keel in October of 2022. I would also like to welcome Heidi, Ann's maid of honor. This is Heidi's first visit to NASSCO, and I understand she wants to become a NASSCO certified welder. We could talk about that later. So we are pleased to have both of you with us today. And as you know, a ship sponsor is a very important part of bringing a ship to life. And we are thrilled that you are here, and know that like your father, you will be an integral part of this ship for decades to come. At NASSCO, we are justifiably proud of every ship we build and are humbled when a ship carries the namesake of a Medal of Honor recipient. Out of the 41 million who have served the U.S. military, the Medal of Honor has been presented to only 3,517 service members. The fact that we have 4 of those Medal of Honor recipients with us today truly highlights what a special day and event this is. As shipbuilders, we understand that the work we do serves a purpose greater than ourselves, a purpose we all take enormous pride in. The men and women of NASSCO are a community of highly trained and highly skilled individuals. From design conception through delivery, we come together each day with one common purpose: to build the finest ships that sail the globe. The Robert E. Simanek is a great example of this. Private First Class Simanek's heroic feats will be chronicled in more detail by some of the other distinguished speakers shortly. However, as an American, I would be remiss if I didn't mention his heroic actions, at least at a high level. During the Korean War, in the early morning hours of August 17, 1952, Private First Class Simanek exhibited a high degree of courage and a resolute spirit of self-sacrifice by putting his own life in harm's way by jumping on a live grenade, shielding his fellow Marines from serious injury or death. Miraculously, unlike some others who performed similar heroic acts, PFC Simanek survived, sustaining injuries to his legs. On October 27, 1953, during a special White House ceremony, President Dwight D. Eisenhower presented PFC Simanek with the Medal of Honor, making him the 36th Marine who served in the Korean War to receive the medal. Much like PFC Simanek, the ship bearing his name is a force multiplier, providing the Navy a highly flexible platform supporting multiple mission capabilities. It has the third largest flight deck in the Navy, can accommodate up to 250 personnel, and has substantial residual space, weight, and power to accommodate a wide range of current and future manned and unmanned, surface, aerial, and underseas capabilities set across multiple warfighting functions. In summary, it is a capable, flexible, 95,000-ton warship. When Anne breaks the bottle on the ship hull a little later, she is christening a ship that represents the embodiment of American unity and purpose, a beacon of freedom and hope that will carry Robert Simanek's legacy to people all over the world. On behalf of the 8,000 employees of General Dynamics NASSCO, I'm proud to present the Robert E. Simanek for christening to our sponsor, Miss Anne Simanek Clark. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave. Next, please welcome Command Master Chief Britt Slabinski, Medal of Honor recipient and President of the Congressional Medal of Honor Society.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, members of our armed services, and of course my teammates for the Medal of Honor Society. Privileged to be in your company. Today we gather with pride and reverence as we celebrate a momentous occasion, the christening of the USNS Robert Simanek. As President of the Medal of Honor Society, it is my profound honor to stand before you on such a significant day, a day that bridges our nation's past with its boundless future. Robert Simanek, a name etched in American history, embodies the essence of gallantry and unwavering courage in the face of adversity. During the Korean War, Private Simanek First Class displayed exceptional heroism and selflessness that distinguished himself above and beyond the call of duty. In an act of incredible bravery, he shielded his fellow Marines from a grenade using his own body, absorbing the blast, in an act of which he was awarded our nation's highest award for valor, the Medal of Honor. Today, as we christen this vessel in his name, we do more than memorialize a man of great resolve. We reaffirm our commitment to the values he exemplified: courage, conviction, and sacrifice with an unyielding dedication to duty. The USNS Robert Simanek will sail forth as a guardian of these ideals, a steadfast ambassador of American strength and benevolence across the global seas. As this mighty ship cuts through the waves, let it carry the legacy of Robert Simanek. Let it be a beacon of hope and a fortress of peace, safeguarding our freedoms and standing resolute against any storm. May all who serve aboard her feel the weight and inspiration of the name she bears. To the crew of the USNS Robert Simanek, you are charged with a solemn duty. You inherit not just a ship, but a spirit of profound heroism and humanity. Sail her with the same courage, the same dignity, and the same commitment to excellence that Robert Simanek himself displayed. And to all who witness this vessel's journey, let it remind us of the cost of our freedom and the strength of our convictions. May the USNS Robert Simanek serve as a steadfast reminder of what we can accomplish when we hold true to our values and stand together as one. Thank you.
Thank you, Master Chief. Now, representing the Commandant of the Marine Corps, please welcome Brigadier General Robert Weiler, Assistant Division Commander, 1st Marine Division.
Thanks, Brian. It really is an honor and a privilege to be here this morning and to represent the Commandant of the Marine Corps. But I also represent about 20,000 Marines at 1st Marine Division that are 1 hour north here at Camp Pendleton. And why is that important? Because PFC Simanek was in 2nd Battalion, 5th Marines, 1st Marine Division, right? So there is legacy and heritage, I believe, in me being here. Also, I have spent most of my career at 1st Marine Division and a former CO of 5th Marine Regiment. So it is really special for me to be here with the Simanek family, with Ann and Heidi. Just a remarkable day for me, as well as the Marines of 1st Marine Division. You grow up in the Marine Corps and you hear stories about Medal of Honor winners. You go to the Chow Hall and you see pictures of Medal of Honor winners. But actually be here at a christening of a ship bearing his name, it's just remarkable for me, and I'm sure all the Marines that are in attendance today. But today we celebrate not just this naval achievement and innovation and shipbuilding, and the Commandant of the Marine Corps and all Marines love shipbuilding. I'll say that again. We love shipbuilding. We need more ships. But also the spirit and bravery of a Marine we emulate, Private First Class Robert Simanek. His legacy is deeply etched in the history of 1st Marine Division. On August 17, 1952, while on patrol in rugged terrain during the Korean War, he demonstrated extraordinary courage and self-sacrifice, the same things we teach our Marines now, in protecting the lives of his fellow Marines. When an enemy grenade was hurled at his patrol, and without hesitation, he absorbed the exploding charges, protecting his fellow Marines from injury and death. His selfless action, for which he was awarded the Medal of Honor, saved the lives and exemplified the core values of Marine Corps service: honor, courage, and commitment. As we christen this ship, we do more than bless a ship. We reaffirm our commitment to the values that make the Marine Corps a warfighting organization. This ship will serve as a floating testimony to Private First Class Simanek's valor and esprit de corps that all Marines and sailors carry with them. Just as Private First Class Simanek stood as a protector amongst his fellow Marines and sailors, this ship will daringly sail the oceans as a protector of American freedom. This ship will join a proud Navy and Marine Corps team at a pivotal time of strategic importance and plays a crucial role in supporting the Marine Corps' new role as a stand-in force. Your Marine Corps will support freedom of navigation and protect access to the global commons in contested environments and maintain maritime security in forward deployed areas. Our ability to rapidly deploy and sustain forces in these key maritime regions while maintaining lethality is the Marine Corps' bid for success and our value proposition to the U.S. taxpayer and our joint force. This ship is built to support these operations, providing a mobile, resilient base from which we can conduct a range of expeditionary operations. To the captain, the officers, and future crew of USNS Robert E. Simanek, you are entrusted with more than just a ship. You are entrusted with the fighting legacy of a Marine and 1st Marine Division hero. You carry with you the duty to define the future of amphibious and naval warfare in a dynamic and an evolving environment. We ask that you perform your duties with the same courage, selflessness, and spirit that Private First Class Simanek showed on August 17, 1952. Thank you, and Semper Fidelis.
Thank you, General. Our next speaker, representing the Chief of Naval Operations, please welcome Vice Admiral Yvette Davids, Superintendent of the United States Naval Academy.
Good morning. What a solemn and joyous day today is, and I'm so pleased to be here with you today. It's an absolute pleasure to join you all here at NASSCO Shipyard on another beautiful San Diego day. Congressman Peters, Mr. Carver, the Honorable Sean Coffey, General Weiler, Medal of Honor recipients, including my good friend Master Chief Slabinski, Captain Bobby Summers, and all members of the crew of Robert E. Simanek, representatives of General Dynamics, NASSCO Shipyard, distinguished guests, and most importantly, the family and friends of Private First Class Robert E. Simanek. So good to see you. It's my privilege to represent the Chief of Naval Operations, Admiral Lisa Franchetti, at the christening of our Navy's newest expeditionary sea base. This is truly a great Navy Day. This vessel, with its ability to support a wide variety of maritime-based missions, such as special operations, air mine countermeasures, and disaster relief, will be critical for our Navy and our Marine Corps' ability to position more players on the field. At this crucial time in our world and nation's history, the USNS Robert E. Simanek and her crew will fearlessly defend the United States and our allies, a mirror of how her namesake selflessly defended his fellow Marines at the risk of his own life and in the face of harrowing odds. At approximately 100,000 tons when fully loaded, this future warship will be forward deployed and manned by a complement of both U.S. Navy sailors and civilian mariners, and together they will help defend the freedom of the seas and the maritime domain. Our expeditionary sea-based vessels combine the commercial hull of the Alaska-class oil tanker with deck space and the flight deck. And like her crew, this expeditionary sea-based vessel provides us with an optimized blend of support and warfighting capability. The Robert E. Simanek will be ready to serve as a power for peace, a critical asset during crisis, or a deliverer of decisive action during war if called to do so. Such an evolution would not be possible without the shipbuilders of General Dynamics NASSCO and the entire San Diego community behind them. Only through our partnerships can we continue to produce ships of innovation and deliver on our commitment and promise to the American people that U.S. Navy warships like Robert E. Simanek will sail proudly to keep the seas free and open to all. And Ms. Clark, there is truly no better namesake for this ship than your father, who said this about himself and his fellow Marines. We never thought about it as self-sacrifice as much as the necessity to do your job so that the group could succeed. Any sacrifices we really made were for each other. Your father's immediate response to put others above himself, the love he had for his fellow Marines, and his willingness to do the seemingly impossible so the group could better face danger, truly exemplifies the heart of what we hope for all sailors, Marines, and mariners who cross the brow of this ship. For the team on board USNS Robert E. Simanek, I know you will rise to the challenge of your namesake and your country, and I thank you for your service. It is my honor to be with you today on this momentous day. Thank you.
Thank you, Admiral. From the United States House of Representatives, please welcome Congressman Scott Peters.
Good morning. Admiral, it's not yet a nice San Diego day, but it might soon be. And if you travel from out of town to be here, welcome to San Diego. It's my honor to represent San Diego, Coronado, San Marcos, and Escondido, where I focused my service on connecting what's important here to what's happening in Washington. Now, San Diego is more recently known as a thriving center for new technology. We boast the third leading biotechnology cluster. We're home to Qualcomm, whose inventions power smartphones around the world. We're a leader in cybersecurity and unmanned systems. But historically, and still, we are a beach town and a border town. And no matter how our region and economy evolve, we are still at our core a proud military town with a cherished history of playing a pivotal role in the national defense. And that means making sure that our troops and our sailors have the equipment and resources they need to do their jobs and to stay safe. Nearly a quarter of our local jobs are tied to the defense of our nation. Some are tied directly to the DoD, and some are in defense contracting, and many are in the shipbuilding and repair industry. And General, we love shipbuilding too. These are good jobs with fair wages, and they help power this working waterfront. Today we gather in a time-honored tradition to christen this vessel, which will represent the unmatched strength and fortitude of the United States Navy and the United States Marine Corps. We honor the industriousness of the local workers who constructed this ship and the ingenuity of companies like General Atomics NASCO, who designed and built this vessel to help us meet the complex challenges of a world in uncertain and dangerous times. And of course, we honor the legacy today of a U.S. Marine, Robert Ernest Simanek, who received the Medal of Honor for his conspicuous gallantry during the Korean War. Ms. Mogi and Ms. Clark, thank you to you and your family for letting me participate in today's ceremony. To our Medal of Honor recipients, including Master Chief Zablinski, our Navy and Marine Corps leadership, including Mr. Coffey, Vice Admiral Davis, Brigadier General Weiler, Captain Murphy, Commander Uwachu, Lieutenant Commander Dundon, and to all of our service members and veterans present, you have my gratitude and the gratitude of your nation for your valor and service. Mr. Carver, Mr. Jones, and all the men and women of NASCO, Shipmaster Summers, Mr. Roberts, congratulations on this great occasion. This vessel will sail the best and brightest America has to offer in their mission to support and defend the cause of liberty and justice around the world. You have our full support. May you find fair winds and following seas. Thank you.
Thank you, Congressman Peters. Please welcome our principal speaker, representing the Secretary of the Navy, the Honorable Sean Coffey, General Counsel of the Navy.
Good morning, everyone. It is an honor to be here with you in beautiful San Diego for the christening of our fleet's newest expeditionary sea base, USNS Robert E. Simanek. I would like to begin by extending a warm welcome to our ship's sponsor and Private First Class Simanek's daughter, Anne, who I had the pleasure to dine with last night. According to naval tradition, the ship sponsor's spirit and presence guide the ship and its crew throughout its years in service. I know Anne will be a guiding light to the crew of Robert E. Simanek wherever she may sail. Anne, we are deeply grateful for your presence here today and for your ongoing support of our Navy, Marine Corps, and Military Sea Lift Command team. I would also like to welcome the rest of PFC Simanek's family who are here with us today, including Heidi, who is not only PFC Simanek's niece and goddaughter, but will also serve as the ship's matron of honor. I'd like to add my welcome to our distinguished guests, the Honorable Scott Peters, Mr. Carver, General Weiler, Admiral Davids, and Master Chief Slablinski, President of the Medal of Honor Society, and the three other Medal of Honor recipients here today, Colonel Robert Mojeski, Colonel Jay Vargas, and Sergeant John Baca. I'm still trying to figure out, Colonel, what the fishing rod is for. Maybe we could talk later. All right. You each honor us with your presence, and you also honor the memory of your fellow Medal of Honor recipient, PFC Simanek. To the Korean War veterans here today, thank you for your presence, selfless service to our country, and the protection of the freedoms that we hold most dear. Your sacrifices in defense of our nation and the people of South Korea will never be forgotten. I'd also like to add my thanks to the men and women of NASCO who helped build this magnificent ship. What you do is more important than ever. We thank you for being part of the solution, being part of our national security by coming to this shipyard every day and bending steel. Thank you very much. Today, as we christen this incredible ship, we honor a remarkable, joyful, and courageous American, Korean War veteran, and Medal of Honor recipient, United States Marine Corps Private First Class Robert E. Simanek. Millions of American men and women served in uniform during the period of the Korean War. Over 33,000 of them made the ultimate sacrifice. Without a doubt, the Korean War saw countless acts of bravery, sacrifice, and courage, but only 146 medals of honor were bestowed. That statistic alone should highlight how PFC Robert Simanek was an incredible person. I am humbled to be here at the christening of his namesake ship. We've already heard the history of how he earned the medal. What stands out for me is how this 22-year-old, carrying only a pistol and a heavy radio, without hesitation, used his body to shield those around him from the blast of a grenade. He placed himself in harm's way to protect them because he saw them as his brothers. We often hear in society the ultimate sacrifice, would you throw yourself on a grenade for that person? It's an aspiration, it's a theory. He did it. He did it for his brothers. Moreover, he kept fighting when he realized that he was hindering the safety of those attempting to rescue him. PFC Simanek once again prioritized others and insisted that he be left behind. He then crawled with his severely injured legs until a rescue team found him. I want to highlight that Private Simanek was not just an incredibly selfless, courageous, and determined man. He also had an infectious positivity. Stories that are shared about him often remark on his humor, and I see this in the accounts of him throughout his time in the Korean War. On his medevac flight, he was quoted saying, quote, "I couldn't get over how beautiful it was. I'd had a shot of morphine in the arm, and that sort of gave me a little extra sense of beauty," unquote. Last night at dinner, I learned from Ann that his sense of humor went so far as to saying he would claim, I think without factual basis, but he would claim that the Marine Corps docked him for pay while he was airborne from the blast of the hand grenade. His accounts of the first time he encountered enemy fire emphasize his humor in a complex and dangerous situation. Likewise, his descriptions of his recovery give us glimpses into his optimistic personality. And I can only imagine the joy of having had him as your dad. My hope for the crew of the future USS Robert E. Simanek is that they share with him not just his courage and selflessness, but also his positive outlook in the face of challenging circumstances. This magnificent ship is a warfighting ship, an impressive 784 feet of American ingenuity and commitment that may one day be called to sail into harm's way. This ship increases the capability of our Navy, Marine Corps, and Military Sea Lift Command Team, contributing to our maritime dominance in an uncertain time when the world once again looks to the United States for guidance, strength, and leadership, as it did over 7 decades ago in Korea. Today, the peace is again threatened. We have a major land war in Europe for the first time in 80 years. In the Red Sea, your United States Navy sailors are operating around the clock within the weapon engagement zone of Iranian-backed rebels who mean them harm, not only to our sailors and ships, but to the international sea lanes that are so critical to the world economy, and of course to our ally Israel. In the Western Pacific, an increasingly aggressive People's Republic of China threatens its neighbors and the rules-based international order. And North Korea's recent actions, such as launching ballistic missiles and continuing violations of imposed UN sanctions, those actions threaten the peace as well, not just on the Korean Peninsula, but also throughout the Indo-Pacific region. We and our allies are committed to ensuring peace and security for the Korean Peninsula, the Indo-Pacific, and throughout the globe, and to preserving the peace that PFC Simanek and thousands of others helped us secure. As the world's problems grow increasingly complex and stability less certain, the growth of our naval fleet is imperative. Today, we meet a significant milestone for this ship and our Navy, and progression towards making the world's greatest Navy even more formidable. I firmly believe that the Robert E. Simanek will serve as an inspiration to all who follow in her wake, and that those who serve on her will draw courage, determination, and yes, some humor from the memory of United States Marine Corps Private First Class Simanek. Ladies and gentlemen, this is truly a remarkable day. I'm honored to be with you. May God bless you and your families, our Navy and Marine Corps, and the United States of America. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Coffey. And now it is my honor to introduce our ship sponsor, Miss Ann Simanek Clark. Ann.
Good morning. What an incredible honor. It's just such a pleasure to be here with all of you, family, friends, distinguished military personnel, Medal of Honor recipients. Thank you for your service. Thank you all veterans in the audience. Thank you to the Marine Corps Band. That's near and dear to my heart. And to all the amazing people who engineered and built this beautiful, beautiful ship. Thank you so very much. My dad would have loved and been astounded by all of this. He would have said sheesh and laughed and just been speechless. I've truly felt him and my mom with me this week. They're right here. As I've spent time remembering them with all my cousins and family, and I'm so grateful that you all are here, and Heidi, thank you, friends. There have been so many stories. And thank you for all of you on the platform today. I truly appreciate all your care and your words, and thank you for telling my dad's story of his action. So I'd like to tell you a little bit about the dad that I knew. He was a pretty quiet guy. He was the third of 4 brothers from Detroit proper. He remembered a lot of his high school French, and he loved poetry. Well into his 90s, he could still recite all of Robert Service's The Cremation of Sam McGee. Anybody know? Probably not. He and my mom loved animals of all sorts and cared for cats, dogs, deer, squirrels, raccoons, opossums, birds. We once had a raccoon living in our bathtub for quite a while. That was my fault, but they put up with it. And as several have mentioned, he had a wonderful sense of pretty stupid humor. And he went to work, and he came home. He brought me milkshakes from Big Boy. We'd watch MASH. After he retired from his accounting career, Dad tended his yard and his flowers every day, all day that he could. But he also had nightmares all his life. I can't imagine the horror and chaos of war. But I do know that my dad never slept much. He always said that his action was discipline, that he was doing what he was taught to do, and that he was just an average guy in the right place, in the right time, to do his military duty by performing an uncommon act of valor. Dad didn't like to speak in public, and he was usually pretty humble about his service. He was consistently aware that others could have taken, and did take, similar or greater action. He knew that many sacrificed much more than he did, and that many more took similar actions that went unrecognized. So Dad wanted to promote the Medal of Honor in terms of what it represented to him, and that was awareness of the things that this average guy, any average guy, is capable of doing to protect his fellow soldiers and to serve our great country. The people of General Dynamics NASCO made the Robert E. Simanek a big, beautiful, powerful support ship. And as Dave spoke to the qualities of this ship, it is a support ship. It's here to be versatile and do everything that I can't imagine anything that it's not capable of doing. Support exemplifies my dad. He offered support throughout his life, to the Marines around him that fateful day in 1952, to his clients throughout his career, to his family and friends, and to his mother and me. I'll be forever honored and grateful for that support. So I look so forward to supporting the crews of this wonderful ship. And I promise to do so in the spirit of compassion and inclusivity. On behalf of my father and the Simanek family, I thank you for this enormous honor.
Thank you so much, Ann. Now it's time. It's time for Dave to escort our sponsor to the Striker Bar for the christening. You ready, Ann? Miss Simanek Clark, would you please christen the ship?
For the United States of America, I christen thee, USNS Robert E. Simanek. May God bless this ship and all who sail in her.
And we have christened the USNS Robert E. Simanek. And we've christened the USS Robert E. Simanek, ESB-7. Thank you, Marine Band San Diego. Give them a round of applause. And very impressive. Very impressive. Left, yeah, left. On behalf of the men and women of General Dynamics NASCO, thank you for attending today's christening ceremony. Special thanks go to the entire NASCO christening team for a job well done. This concludes our ceremony. I wish you fair winds, following seas, Semper Fidelis.